So what I want to talk about is starting my journey with Nofap. Now, after 2 weeks of Nofap, I realized that I don't need as much sleep as I used to. Before, I would sleep 7 to 8 hours a day. Now, after 2 weeks, I'm sleeping about 6 hours a day. I have more of a clear mind. I don't really have too much inner dialogue going on, distracting me. I mean, I still do, but not as much as before when I got started. So this allows me to focus on things that I'm working on a little bit better, and I can get more things done. I'm not gonna lie, since the last time I gave you guys an update, which I believe was 45 days of Nofap, I've been getting those strong sexual urges just to let it out and go back to my old ways. But I'm determined to make it to the 90-day mark. The reason why I'm trying to make it to at least 90 days is because I've seen other people talk about what it takes to rewire your brain, and a few of them said that it takes at least 90 days to reprogram your brain. I've been dealing with temptations here and there, but I've managed to overcome them and I'm still strong, and here I am today talking about the benefits after 90 days on Nofap. Now, what's crazy about being on Nofap for 180 days is that I started to realize that it sets you apart from just regular Joes, people who are just caught up in that lifestyle of just being sexually stimulated by what they see on TV or the internet. And it's kind of like I have an unfair advantage. It's like, hey, what's going on, you guys? If you read the title of this video, then you already know what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm not going to be talking about business or making money online. This is just an update video on my journey with Nofap after 365 days. Now, as of the recording of this video, it's April 26th. Today is 367 days for me. Now, I never thought I would be making a video on this topic. I just started doing this because my friend, he told me about Nofap, and he started telling me about all the benefits. And at first, I thought it was kind of weird. Now, this was over a year ago that he started telling me about this. Now, at first, when he started talking to me about this, I thought he was kind of crazy. And I thought, like everybody else who was on this journey, was kind of crazy too for doing this. But he actually challenged me to give it a try. So I did. Now, within the first 2 weeks, those were probably the toughest for me because I felt hornier than a jackrabbit. And I almost lost it a couple of times throughout this journey. But what kind of motivated me and inspired me to stay on this path is that I would watch other people talking about their journey being on Nofap. And I would figure if they can do it, then that means I can do it. And that's the reason why I'm making this video, hopefully to inspire and motivate anybody who is on this path and just looking for some inspiration. Now, after the first 30 days, that's when I started to notice that I was getting some benefits out of this. I've talked about this a lot in my update videos. And it's basically the same benefits that most guys get when they start this journey. They get increased energy, they have more confidence, they feel more attraction from girls, meaning that girls just naturally come up and talk to them, or they catch girls just like being around them or just looking at them. And I started to get those benefits after about 30 days. And it's a pretty good feeling. But after a while, when you've been on this journey and you stop looking at porn, you stop masturbating, you start to look at things a little bit differently. At least I did. Going from somebody who constantly watched porn to just completely stopping, I mean, that had a huge change in my mindset. When you're somebody who's constantly looking at that stuff, you think sexually all the time. If you're somebody who's constantly watching TV or just constantly scrolling through social media, everything is just sexualized. And if you're somebody who's not on this journey, you might not even notice it. But once you start this journey, you're going to be opening your eyes to seeing how much things are just being put out there like sexually. And that's what used to trigger me to go and watch porn and masturbate. And that's the whole reason why I started this journey. Because me, I would be the type of person to go and watch something and then I would just go and rub one out. And then I wouldn't want to do anything else after that. And it would just kind of ruin my day. And I'm pretty sure most guys can relate to this, but like when you're looking for a certain video, you're wasting a lot of time trying to find that right video, trying to find the right scene. And when you do, you realize that you wasted a good amount of time and then you just feel like pretty much drained after that. Now, as somebody who's trying to build an online business, that's not something that I need to be doing. Now, fast forward a couple of months, I noticed that I started becoming more and more disciplined with myself. That meant I was reading more books, I was uploading more consistently on YouTube, and I was becoming more disciplined when it comes to working out. So that's just a few more benefits that I noticed after a few months. But not everything has been a benefit since I've been on this path. There were a few times where I would just wake up with a headache and it pretty much lasted all day. It wasn't like an intense migraine type of headache, it was just kind of like a mild one, but it would just be there all day long and I really didn't know why. But it didn't really happen too often. I probably noticed this maybe about 6 or 7 times throughout this whole year. Now something that I didn't expect to happen, basically the first time that it did, was having a wet dream. I remember the first time it happened, I just woke up and I was like, what the fuck? I used to think this is something that only happens when you're going through puberty. But I guess this happens when you just have too much baby gravy built up and your body doesn't know what to do with it. Now this happened to me about 6 or 7 times throughout this whole journey. But the crazy thing about it is that I didn't feel drained like I usually do when I go and rub one out. Now I mentioned the benefits of having more energy, more confidence, but I just want to let you guys know that this is not something that you're going to notice or just feel every day. There were a few times where I just felt kind of depressed. There were a few times where I just questioned the whole reason, like, why am I doing this? And there was times where I just felt like I had no sexual drive at all. And there was times where I felt like just quitting altogether. But that would mean that I would just lose the benefits that I worked so hard to build up. But I guess that's just what people call having a flatline. But I just want to let you guys know those feelings, they don't happen every day. Just like basically anything in life, you have your ups and your downs. Now after about 9 months of being on this journey, I started to think more spiritually. I started to think about others instead of just always thinking about myself. Sometimes I would make it a point to go out of my way to help somebody if I seen that they needed help. Like for example, if I seen an old lady at the grocery store and she's reaching for like a can on the top shelf and she can't reach, I would offer to help her get it down. Now besides the benefits of being on Nofap, there's a couple of things that I've actually learned. Like for example, I've learned how to be more patient. And I don't take things as personally as I used to do as I would in the past. Like for example, if somebody looks at me funny or they're talking to me in a rude manner, I just let it go. But before I started this journey, I would take it personal, I would get all of my emotions, and that would basically ruin my day. But now I realize if somebody is talking to me like in a rude manner or they just look at me funny, I mean, that has nothing to do with me. It's probably something that they're going through in their life and they're just maybe having a bad day. Now, I don't have a problem just walking up to a stranger and just starting a conversation, but before I would, because I would have a little bit of social anxiety. I don't really notice that, or I don't feel that anymore. And basically this is what I've experienced after being on this journey for a year. I don't know if I'm going to be continuing to give you guys updates on this journey, because like I mentioned, if you've seen my previous videos, I've started this just to see how it is. I didn't plan on going this long, but just after a month, after noticing the benefits, I realized that there was a lot more to it. So that's why I kept on going. But if you guys want to see updates on my future progress, I mean, let me know down in the comments below. But that's basically all I wanted to share in this video. I hope this video helped you guys out for anybody who is on this journey or thinking about starting this journey. And if you're somebody who's struggling to stay on this journey and you're thinking about quitting, maybe you might have relapsed and started over, I mean, just keep on going because it's totally worth it. I know it's easy to relapse because, I mean, it's easier to get instant gratification, but when you practice discipline and you do what's hard, I mean, it's going to pay off in the long term. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.